Hello, welcome to the Ghana Agenda. My name is Safeda Muzu, and today is October 16th. Today we are having a discussion with the Deputy Communications Officer of NDC in the person of Godwin Ako Gunn. We have a lot of questions for him. He's been on the road working hard for the party. We'll recognize that. And I would ask him about the big push, NDC's plan for making Ghana grow again. We have a lot to discuss. We'll be opening the phone line. If this is the first time you're joining the Ghana Agenda, this is a political show that talks about governance in Ghana, looking at the current government, and we bring people from politicians from Ghana to answer questions, and our discussions are interesting. We've been talking to some we spoke to Sami Jemfi, who's actually the communications officer, and now we are talking to Ako Gunn. In fact, Ako Gunn this is the second time on the show. We always appreciate him joining us, and we are looking forward for a great conversation. So if this is the first time you're joining the show, please share the link. Share the link so that your friends can also join us. Also, please, don't forget to subscribe to the show. Don't forget to subscribe to the show. Oh, we're already getting comments, and we love comments. So please, if you're watching us, share your comments, and we will be happy to read them. And if there are questions, we'll pose them to the guest and have the guest answer them. The first comment we already have from my own sister, Eunice Cromwell. Eunice is one of our hosts on TV, Trend Africa TV, and it's part of a big family. So this whole Ako Radio Trend Africa is a one big family of avenues that we take to bring education and conversations. We get conversations started using this, and I hope you're enjoying it. Please share the link. I'll check my green room to see if my guest is there. But the things we'll be talking about today, let me just quickly go through them as we are waiting. I think I can look at the green room. He's not there yet. So I have to do my reach backs to see where our guest is and if he's ready to join so we can start the conversation. But the things we'll be talking about, one is I want to hear from him about the presentation that was made by the Electoral Commissioner, Jean Mensah, at the ECOWAS Parliament that was currently held at the University of Education in Winneba. I'll play that videotape and have his reaction. I think the party's chairman, or from Osu, who's the chairman of the party, from what he said is that the party will be reacting to the Electoral Commissioner's comments. And since we have the Deputy Communications Officer of the party, hopefully we can get that reaction started on the Ghana Agenda. If you haven't already done so, please share the link. Okay. The second thing would be that the thank you tour that the JM is on. I think he's been on a couple of tours with the former president, and would ask him how those tours are going. What are some of the things they are seeing as they are going around the country, thanking the voters who casted, their ballots for the party in the 2020 election, and also people who they are currently trying to get them to change their minds, people who may have not voted for them, but they want those people to vote for them. Would ask all that and see how that is going. And then, of course, now, I'm sure he's gonna say that they're hearing good things, and perhaps that some of the things I'm hearing is they have this feeling that they will win the 2024 election. Now, if you win the election, how are you going to govern? How is the NDC going to make Ghana work again? And perhaps we'll touch on economic growth strategies. They may have the big push. What does that mean? And if we have time, we want to go into the NDC reorganization, what they are doing, because we have a party person, so right person to ask all those questions. And we can't finish the show without talking about the LGBT bill. So we'll get into that briefly and get what he thinks about it. And we can, so let's get a conversation started. We want to again, go back to the rooms to see if our guest is in, so we'll get the conversation started. In the meantime, let's transfer some money. Now, I heard about the Bank of Ghana. I'm going to be sharing the Bank of Ghana's scam alert on WeTransfer. Is it?
Just one more pick, JJ, please.
On the world remit, on our world remit, so I just quickly put it in just to kind of get the right thing. But on our world remit money transfer platform that people are using it, they're using it for some scam, doubling money. I'm gonna put that, read through it, just so you are educated on what is going on if you are using. So you just be careful when you're using it. But let's take a quick commercial from them, and I'll look into the green room. I think my guest is testing me now. Let me see what he's saying.
Just one more pick, JJ, please.
Oh, Mama. Really?
Smile. It's not every day my eldest son graduates.
I couldn't have done it without you.
Or without Auntie Jane's generous support.
Here is to Auntie Jane's well-appreciated World Remit money transfers.
World Remit Corporation is licensed as a money transmitter by the New York State Department of Financial Services, as a foreign transmittal agency by the Massachusetts Division of Banks, number FT 1179663, and licensed by the Georgia Department of Banking and Finance, NMLS 1179663, Massachusetts Foreign Transmittal License, FT 1179663.
World Remit, a better way to send money. Download the app or visit worldremit.com.
Are you 65 years or older? Good news. Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. It's true. For most people, your health insurance program increases as you grow older. That's why the state of Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. If you are 65 years and older, there's one thing we can all agree on. Your health and well-being is important. Whether you are a recent green card holder or retiree, asylee or without paper, you're now eligible for the Illinois Medicaid Health Insurance Program. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. Documents needed to apply: your proof of ID, your proof of address, and your proof of income.
All right, welcome back to the show. So the guests will be joining us shortly. If you haven't already done so, please share the links so that we can have a lot more people watching. Just got information. It's on the road. As soon as it gets on, we'll start the program. But if you are just joining, we've tabled 5 things that we wanted to talk about, and we'll open the phone lines towards the end, depending on how we're doing on time. So you can call in and ask your questions. We are having Godwin Ako Gunn, the Deputy Communications Officer of NDC. We just talked to his boss. This guy's very young guys, and I'm so proud of them. And I'm sure you would enjoy him, and you find the reasons why I'm proud of him. Let's it's worth listening to. So please share the link for us and subscribe to our channel, so that anytime we come on, you can always directly be notified and you can join the show. Let's take a quick commercial break. Matter of fact, let's take a quick commercial break again, and I would bring out the word remit alerts that I was talking about and word remit response, so that we see the two sides of the case. There's an alert, word remit has responded, and as one of their partners, of course, we are in the business of information, so we have to we want to share that with you so that you are you have both informations. Thank you, and we will be right.
Are you 65 years or older? Good news. Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. It's true. For most people, your health insurance program increases as you grow older. That's why the state of Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. If you are 65 years and older, there's one thing we can all agree on. Your health and well-being is important. Whether you are a recent green card holder or retiree, asylee or without paper, you're now eligible for the Illinois Medicaid Health Insurance Program. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. Documents needed to apply: your proof of ID, your proof of address, and your proof of income.
Yeah, so let's talk about the alert that we got from the Bank of Ghana on the work remit as we wait for the guests to join us. I'm going to a All right, sorry about that. I think my sound got interrupted quickly there. If you're still watching, please respond and let us know that you're watching. Yeah, I was reading from the Bank of Ghana's notice on the word remit doubling scheme, the doubling scheme, or so they're calling it. And what it is that someone is asking you to, they are creating codes for people. They are then using it to obtain their WhatsApp passwords and sending spurious emails or things, messages asking people to help. I'm sure you've gotten one of those recently, but these are some of the means in which they're getting. So if you are dealing with any organization that says they are word remit and they are doing cash doubling scheme, now, it's not just the name cash doubling scheme, right? So this is a scheme, so the name can change. But if that is something you are engaging, they are asking that you would reach out to the Bank of Ghana, check with the Bank of Ghana to see if that institution is registered, and refer to so they okay. Well, Remit has responded. So what we would do now is look at what their response is. So if you're listening, please share the link. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back, listen to what Word Remit said, or read what Remit said in response to the alert that was passed out by the Bank of Ghana as we wait for our guests to join. We will be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show again. My name is Alfred Amuzu. If this is the first time you're watching, this show is a political show that focuses on Ghana, things happening in Ghana. Whenever they release a budget, we take it, we analyze it, we look at the various industries, performances, debt, GDP growth. We bring guests from the NDC and MPP to come and address the government's plans and executions, failures, scandals, etc. Where we bring analysis of interviews that would have heard from other channels. For instance, the other day we took on the special prosecutor when he interviewed with Nanaba, and some of the things he said about his approach to investigate, how he's building the office. As he went there, there wasn't anybody on payroll. Pretty much that's what he said. It was one person. A lot of the people there when he got there most of them were on secondment. Almost 9 of them altogether. So were on secondment. Somebody who has to leave or be fired immediately when he got there because he asked questions and the person couldn't answer, etc., etc. We brought that, we discussed it, we looked at, and we also talked about where he actually, as reading through his handing over notes, saw disclosures of interference that were made by his predecessor, but he didn't want to focus on that. He sees it as a past that he has to learn from, and we thought if that signals anything. But anyway, that is there. If you're interested, please watch it and give us your feedback. All right. So this is what Remit's response is. This is what Remit's response. It says, word remit. This was released yesterday. It says general security statement. We Dear World Remit partner, we are aware of a recent fraudulent attempt to impersonate our brand online in Ghana using our name or pseudonym like Word Remit or Word Remit. You could see that when they do it and when they use the pseudonym, they separate the word from remit. That's the first one. The second one is they change the R in the first word right after word. They change the R. So right here, if you're watching, that will be the end of the first paragraph. You see the second two. Let me see. The fourth to last word remit. They changed the R in remit and made it a lowercase. The original word remit is word as in W, capital W, O, small r, L, D in spelling of word. And then the remit to start with a capital R and the rest of the letters are in small case. But in this case, they're clever. So they made it a lower R. And then the second way you see it is that they'll split the word from remit. I know this is, they're making life so difficult for everybody. You don't have to be, So word remit is saying that we aim to be ever vigilant in our approach to cybersecurity and fraud prevention measures and do our best to shut down this sort of attempts when we see them. The reality is that there are many fraudsters on the lookout to scam customers out of their money or personal details. This is not unique to us, but it is very common. Please be careful when you're dealing with any word remit variants or pseudonyms being used to transfer money in Ghana. All right. So, please, if you're joining for the first time, share the link. Today we are talking to the Deputy Deputy Communication Officer of NDC, and we'll be tackling, current issues, the tour with NDC, the tour that the NDC is currently on, or the former flag bearer of the NDC, former President John Dramani Mahama, is on, and the stop he made in Cape Coast, some of the discussions. And then we will look at the plans for rebuilding Ghana. Should they be lucky to become the party in government in 2024? And if we have the time, we will make a few comments on the LGBT bill, NDC's reorganizations, etc., the big push. There is something in there called the Golden Triangle. I'm interested. I would like to ask him what the Golden Triangle is and what is the strategy behind it. I don't know if you've heard that before, but we'll reserve all the answers to him. But pretty much it is I don't want to spoil it for you, but the road networks and the train systems for a transformation of Ghana. And I want to ask him, what was the strategy behind that? Somebody has to see that vision and point to, this is where we are going to build the train stations. Because if it's going to land on your favorite watches spots, you might be interested in engaging in that conversation. So what sort of community engagement and thoughts went into, or collaboration went into that vision of a Golden Triangle, and what would that add to the economy? How would that transform Ghana? Why is that something that Ghana needs to currently embark on? We would talk about all that. I think I have him in the studio now. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring in Godwin so we can start our conversation. We will be right back. Hello, welcome back to the show again. My name is Alfredo Muzu, and this is the Ghana Agenda for October 4th, October 16th, 2021. We are privileged to have with us the Deputy Communications Officer for the NDC. This is the second time he's coming to the show. I first of all want to take the opportunity to say a big thank you for always answering to our call and joining us for a great conversation that we are about to have. Mr. Ako Gunn, welcome to the Ghana Agenda.
Thank you.
All right. So I was telling people before you came that young men like yourself and your boss who was on the show and, did us a great favor, told us a lot of good things that I'm sure you are going to also expand on today. I was telling him, this is a very young man and this is his deputy, another young man. What's going on in NDC? Is it the young man? But is that where all the young men are the big men? Talk to me.
I think with this we just need to appreciate the umbrella party and also to thank the delegates for the opportunities that they have given to us.
Right.
There's one thing being given an office or a position to handle, and there's another thing that you being able to prove yourself. And we still have about a year more to go. And it's my prayer that the NDC will find our work in the last 4 years worthwhile. That is the most important thing. And for me, I have never had a problem with age and all that. The truth is that if you look at the NDC party, most of our leaders that we see today, we call them our grandfathers, our whatever. They took the mantle of leadership at relatively very, very, very young age. The leader and the founder of the NDC himself was a leader of this nation when he was less than 35 years. That should tell you where we are coming from. And today, when we see the youth taking over, I would say that some of us even came in very late. But I'm happy for my boss and the communication officer, Sami Jemfi, who is in his 30s and leading the communication charge of the NDC. And I think that we need to see more of this, that the youth will, rise up to leadership at very young age, so that people can comfortably retire at the age of 60, knowing that they have really served the party. So that is my prayer for the youth, taking responsibility at a very young age.
Right. And I think it helps with the experience too, because by the time they actually get to their 40s and 50s, they would have learned a lot and through that experience. So thank you so much for all the great work you're doing. You inspire a lot of the youth out there, and thanks for how you even summarize it. So today, I wanted us to talk about the thank you tour that the former president is on. I know you've I don't know if you were there with him at Cape Coast. How is it going? How is the thank you tour going, and how is the mood? What are you guys seeing? What is the party seeing? Are you encouraged by what you're seeing that you'll be successful in the next election?
Right. Thank you very much. I have been part of this thank you tour. And right from day one, when we started the first phase in Upper East region, Northeast, then to Northern region, Savannah, and then Upper West. That comprised the first phase of the five Northern region. And then the second phase that comprised Ashanti region, Bono East, Western North, and Ahafo regions. This is the third phase that we are embarking. We started this week, and I need to be very honest. It has been a success. We were in Western region. We just returned yesterday from the Central region, and God willing, tomorrow morning we'll be moving to Volta and Oti. Then we'll climax everything in Accra with a date that is yet to be communicated. So on Monday and then on Tuesday, we will be doing the Oti and then the Volta region. And in general, I would say that the people of Ghana are still in the mood of seeing the NDC as the party that should have been in power, not the party in opposition. And God being so good, all the regions that we've been so far, you can see the welcome of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And as I said yesterday that in Western region it was a triumphant. In Eastern region I said it was a triumphant entry, because in Eastern region where we know that it is the den of the NPP. When we entered Eastern region, it was a surprise to some of us. And if I shared or you saw the videos, you can tell that this time things are really going to change. And if you look at the regrets that people are going through, the votes that they casted for us, that for one way or the other, thing didn't go the way that it's supposed to go or we expected it to go. Just because we introduce violence or dictatorial tendencies in the 2020 elections, where guns were introduced for the first time in our politics at the coalition centers, that we still have about 8 cases at the courts as we speak to you in respect to parliamentary elections. This is unprecedented in the history of Ghana. And for us, we are putting this thing behind us. We are looking forward to 2024. But you see, what the people are saying on the grounds gives us the confidence to say that it is going to be a good year for us in 2024. And in Central Region, let me summarize the tour with happenings in Central Region yesterday, so that you don't get back with questions on the details of the tour. And because yesterday the Central Region was just yesterday, let me talk about some of the things that came up yesterday. I know we'll be talking about the LGBT, so I'll shield that one for now. But His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was asked several questions that included the states and the investment of Commander Sugar Factory, and then that was the interaction that he had with the media. Then again, they wanted to, and that has been the pattern. Everywhere that we go, we have media engagement. That we have a collection of media houses who will come and then ask His Excellency questions. After that, we'll go and visit the religious leaders. And then the religious leaders are always in two folds. We meet the Christians together, and then we meet the Islamic clergies also at a different venue. Then we go to the chiefs and the people of the region, and then also thank them, because traditionally, if you are able to touch these 3 bases and then you touch the party members, then it takes care of the whole region, because ideally this program was targeted at going to all the various constituencies, but because of COVID, yes, that was going to be about 275 visits. So we decided to do with regional basis, and we used the media, the clergy, the Islamic cleric, and then the traditional leaders to communicate our appreciation to them during the elections, and also to thank God.
What I mean is you're doing visits per region. You are going to one place in a region, or are there other regions that you're making 2 stops?
No, we do initially. For instance, when we started in the northern sector, we visited the chiefs, that's the paramount chiefs, at their various policies. So it became very hectic, especially in northern region, where we had you have the Dagomba chief, you have the various chiefs. It was very hectic, so we had to travel, along the various chiefs. So we modified it, and then from then we bring all the chiefs to one center, Most of the time, we normally do it at the traditional or the paramountcy, or if they have how they call it, Council of Chiefs, where they normally do their council meetings. That is where we also go and then have our meetings with the chiefs. So in general, we've been able to touch all the various chiefs and then traditional rulers.
Right. So yeah, great. So Commander, you mentioned Commander, and because you mentioned Commander, I have a video on Commander I wanted us to play, and so that you can actually discuss Commander for me. Commander, since it's keep popping up, we know we are still importing the sugar. So let's listen to this video when we can. Please give me your analysis and give me an overview of the whole Commander and what the vision was and why we are in a bad shape because we don't have it working.
This is the factory that is supposed to be producing sugar for the country, but it has been idle for 5 years. The roof is rusty and worn out. Before we get into the details of the current state of the factory, let's trace how Ghana found itself in this situation. It may sound basic, but Ghana had a dream to start producing sugar locally, hence the rebirth of the Commander Sugar Factory. The old factory, built in 1964, became defunct about 30 years ago. A loan of $36.5 million was invested into the factory. Resuming operations at the factory was a perfect opportunity to do things right this time around and cut down on Ghana's importation of sugar.
So as I speak, every single cube of sugar, every single grain of sugar that we eat here in Ghana is imported from outside. Commander is going to change that. It is my honor and my pleasure to declare the Commander Sugar Factory duly inaugurated.
Excitement created the commissioning of the sugar factory in 2016.
The inauguration of the Commander Sugar Factory will provide jobs. It is estimated that in full production, this project will provide direct and indirect jobs to an estimated 7,300 people.
Fortunately, the facility shut down in July 2016 because of inadequate sugarcane. It was due to reopen in October 2016, but never did to date. Since then, there has been a flurry of promises to get the factory running.
Because summer kasisia here, to so kasisia here, Emma factory to me down the amount of land we need for the sugar, the type of sugar we can grow here, all those things were not properly organized. I think our organization, our organization, and also the to me strategic investor, and also it to me about Bisomu, Nanche.
But it took 2 years before the government announced a new investor for the sugar factory.
This factory, like any other factory, will keep on needing ongoing investment, ongoing retooling, and if that is done, definitely it will keep running and it will bounce back.
When are you starting work?
We are waiting for the final agreements to happen. After that, we'll start working.
All right. So you've heard the tape. The president is saying that there has to be arrangements and organizations done for sugar we needed to process, and because we don't have that, that is why the factory is not opening. And he said this in 2018. What is this whole arrangement with trying to have another investor come in to take over? And what was the vision behind the whole Commander Sugar Factory resurrection by the John Mahama administration, and why are we where we are? Did you guys not, when John Dramani Mahama was in government, did he not make arrangements for the land and the sugar, etc., before the factory was built? And why did he do that?
Yeah, let me say that even the land arrangements and the whole of Commander was because of the earlier how they call it sugar factory. They had worked on land acquisitions during the Nkrumah regime. So when we talk about land and all those things, it's falsehood. You understand? His Excellency John Dramani Mahama communicated yesterday and also explained why the investment in Commander went the way it went. Let me break it in two folds. Normally, the MPP were accusing us that we had a factory, we didn't have plan for it, it was a propaganda tool, and all that. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama explained that the Commander Sugar Factory was established before going into farm the sugarcane because of a previous experience that happened in Ghana. When His Excellency J.J. Rawlings was exiting power, he had a relationship, a bilateral relationship with the people of India. And they brought in soya bean to be grown in Ghana for us to have a lot of, because of the economic advantages that comes with soya bean and all its economic benefits, to even export it outside for foreign exchange, among others. So when they engaged the farmers, right, and the farmers started growing the soya bean, unfortunately, the NDC left office. So the MPP had to follow up with the Indian government for the factory to be established. They didn't. Because they didn't follow up, now farmers had invested in soya bean cultivation and all that. Right. And soya bean too was not known to the Ghanaian market. It was a foreign product, a foreign crop that we were introducing into Ghana.
We didn't eat soya beans in Ghana.
That is it. Right. So they had a lot of losses. So based on that, the next agenda was that then let them sell it, market it locally to reduce their losses. Right. But unfortunately, people were complaining that you have to put it on fire for a very long time before it cooks and all those things. So it wasn't selling. So this time around, when we were going to do this sugarcane and its factory, we decided that we needed the farmers' confidence. Right. So this time around, we want to establish the factory. And after we establish the factory, then when you are engaging farmers to go into because these are not the normal sugar canes that we plant in Ghana. Right. Our sugar cane is very thin. But the hybrid ones that were going to be cultivated were so big that, according to His Excellency, could be even at the size of a leg or somebody's thigh. That is how big it is. So the water content is so voluminous to be able to produce more sugar. Right. The other reason why we decided to move heavily into the production of sugar was that as a nation, we spend over $300 million a year, right, to import sugar into this country. And some of the products that suck our foreign currencies are the importations of tin tomato, importation of sugar, importation of oil, and the importation of rice. Right. These four items are the number one, consumers of our foreign exchange. Right. So in the wisdom of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we decided that then let's do some of these. I left out the fifth one, that is the poultry products.
Right.
So let us do some of these things here to reduce the level of importation. We revived Pualugu tomato factory. We established the Adan factory, that produce tomato paste. We also started with the rice mills to also cut down the importation of rice. It is oil that we didn't tackle, but with poultry products, every importer of poultry was only allowed to bring 60% of the poultry outside and make sure that you get the 40% locally to be able to serve the local farmers. Then again, we established Commander Sugar Factory to be able to, cut down at least even by half or a quarter the importations of sugar in this country. So these are the economic reasons that we went into it. And you see, this EXIM facility that were offered, the first facility was for us to have our the establishment of the factory. The next one was also to go for the facility for the farmers to also produce, to grow, and then have these outgrowers and all that. And this is a facility that was open to Ghana. So the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo administration were, approached that this is a facility for you. They said that they were not interested. Read my lips. They said they were not interested.
They said
you
it was
understand?
not their priority.
Thank you. It was not their priority.
Right.
And if it is not your priority, because their priority is that they are not going to run any state-owned, venture.
Right.
So even with the commander, as the video that you played, that they are now looking for an investor. And it will surprise you that in 2018, an investor who showed interest and said that they were going to start very soon, 3 years down the line, is nowhere to be found, because they just got somebody to come and show interest, but not willing to invest in it. But I'm happy to say that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has also promised the people of Ghana that when he comes back to power 2025, and this facility is not sold out by this administration, he is going to make sure that this facility remains the property of Ghana, and for us to be able to reduce the importation of sugar, we are going to invest into it for the Commander Sugar Factory to be on its feet.
Great. Thank you so much for that elaborate, deep dive into Commander for us. We really appreciate it. Now, I also heard in your, initial submissions that the election had witnessed, or currently we have about 8 cases ongoing. There were so many things happening that happened on the 2020 election, but the electoral commissioner speaking at the ECOWAS parliament had this to say. I want you to listen, and then when you come, I want to have your reaction. I think your party chairman, I'm going to put you on the spot here. The party chairman says the party is going to react. So hopefully we will get that reaction from you, since you are in the communication detail. You are in connected there. So let's be the first place that you react to the electoral commissioner, or the party will react to the electoral commissioner. So we'll be back. Let's take a listen, and then we'll talk about it when we get to after that.
Mr. President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to the glory of God, I'm pleased to say that Ghana held an election in December 2020 that proved that the story of elections in our sub-region can indeed be an inspiration, that our story as West African states can be one that brings hope to our youth and light to the coming generations, and that we can provide best practices that the most advanced democracies of the world can learn from. Yes, we can. I humbly refer to Ghana's 2020 elections as historic for the transparency, the credibility, the cost effectiveness, the high turnout, and the peaceful conduct that characterized it. So orderly, so methodical, so calm were the polls on the 7th of December 2020 that BBC could find no other way to describe our elections than boring. We refer to them as historic also because all our electoral processes and the election itself were conducted in the height of the COVID-19 pandemic without the spread of the virus. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm aware that I'm supposed to be giving a goodwill message, but please permit me to highlight a few of the successes of Ghana's 2020 election. We proved that elections in our sub-region can be run efficiently in spite of the odds and challenges.
Hello.
Oh, so my mic was off there. So yeah, we heard. I just played the Electoral Commissioner Jane Mensah speaking to the ECOWAS Parliament. What she's saying there, I mean, the crowd she's saying it to, in that context, that we have executed an election that CNN described as, or BBC described as, boring. In the context of West Africa, is she right? And also the reference to the transparency and all that. What is your party's reaction to this? If you've already read that reaction, what is it?
Okay, let me say that talking about the reaction from the party, I would say that the party is going to react very soon. Just to also add that on Monday, we are going to have a press conference, and that will be on the fuel price, because just this year, fuel prices has been increased for about 13 times, if I am right, just about 13 times this year. And so we are going to state our position on it. And I don't know if perchance the response of the EC chair would pass through, but I don't know, but what I will say is that this is the worst elections ever in the history of Ghana. I am also saying this because both NPP and NDC are in court with, I think, 5 cases each. Talking about the parliament, for instance, they are saying that things didn't go well in Pusiga, where they are contesting the results. Unfortunately, I don't have all the five constituencies that the MPP is challenging, but I know on authority that they have taken 5 seats to court. Whilst we are also challenging them on 5 seats. Right. Yes, one of the popular ones are the Techiman, and then Sefiri also, Takwa, Inshaem, and all that. We are also challenging them in 5 constituencies. So how will you be proud if you are an EC chair? How will you be proud on on an election like this? You understand? Right. And just to also add that, and these are all on parliamentary levels, that for the first time you've introduced something on regional coalition centers. This, we never had that in our history. We only had constituency coalition centers where all the 275 results are transmitted from the various constituencies straight to the strong room that is in Accra, because the constitution mandates the electoral chair as the only returning officer. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I didn't hear you.
I was just saying she said she did that to make her job easier.
Hello, I didn't hear you.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead. Can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah, so I'm saying that she said she did that to make her job easier. Instead of receiving from 270 polling stations, she's only constituencies. She's only receiving from 16 regions.
No, you see, the responsibility that the Constitution has given to you, you cannot say that you are giving that responsibility out there for people to do it on your behalf. It is not done. So it means that you are the one. It is one of the reasons why she refused to go to the dock when we took her to court, because she couldn't answer for some of the things that happened at the regional level. She couldn't speak to it because that was your responsibility and you couldn't live up to that expectation. Then again, talking about the court cases, we've had elections where the security were also brutally brute to the citizens of the Republic of Ghana. That we had 8 people not dying from anywhere but from coalition centers. It means that the polling stations were peaceful, but the coalition center, where the law says that we don't do counting there, we just do tallying, we don't do counting there, we do collation, we do, but that is where that the 8 people were shot. Yes, they are not counted there. It is just the sheets, the collated sheets at the various branches that are brought there for tabulation to be done. So how could this be so difficult to the extent that people had to lose their lives? Just because the electoral commissioner and the ruling party were in cohorts to change the mandate of the people. How do you decide after creating regions in 2018? After creating region, you sit down a day to the elections. Let me say 12 hours to the elections before you tell the people of Central Kofi, Lipe, Lolobi, and then how do you call it? Central Kofi, Akpapu, Lipe, and then Lolobi. Sao, that you cannot be part of the elections of 2020. Unprecedented.
Parliamentary election of
exactly. And the candidates were going round campaigning, spending money. But the MPP knew that these people would take them out. They are not going to vote. Based on that, the current MP for Hohwe never campaigned anywhere around Lipe, Central Kofi, and the others because he knew that this was going to happen. And he knew ahead of time. You understand? And NDC, not knowing this, also chose our candidate from the South.
Right.
You understand? So if we have such an electoral commission who says that she's an inspiration to other countries, I beg to differ. We have seen
the boldness with which this was executed, though. Can you imagine that 12? I mean, how do we allow this type of things to happen in Ghana, where within 12 hours before an election, the electoral commissioner, with a stroke of a pen, disenfranchised a whole community?
I like that, but a stroke of a pen, a whole community, four large communities. You said they are not going to vote because you desperately needed a vote in a seat in the Volta region. You understand? So if it means that you have to break necks, you have to twist people's arms for you to get that seat, you are ready to do it. You understand? And for the first time that guns have been introduced into our elections, she should be ashamed of herself. She should be ashamed of herself.
All right. So knowing that this is what you are playing with, knowing you, the NDC, knowing that they have to deal with this electoral commissioner. This is an electoral commissioner that is willing to, by the stroke of a pen, like you said, take out Sandro Kofi, Akpafu, Lulubi, and Likpe. This is an electoral commissioner who, the same electoral commissioner is saying that he's, she's done excellent. She's telling you in your face to ECOWAS that she's done excellent. CNN is calling it boring. How do you deal with such an electoral commissioner as a party in opposition? This is the government who is willing to disenfranchise, do anything, maneuver. How do you prepare yourself to win power back from, this opponent of yours?
Truth be told, power emanates from the people. And I can assure you that, you see, for instance, in Ayawaso West Wagon, where our agents were shot, like people going for game in the forest. We never knew. We've always had violence in elections and all that, but we never knew that guns could be introduced in elections until recently. And you see, because of that, the NDC as a party have done some proposals for the Electoral Commission and some amendments that needs to be done before the next elections. These are some of the things that we think that when addressed, it is going to save our elections, because there's an account.
On top of your head, what are some of the highlights of that proposal? What exactly do you want to see the Electoral Commissioner change?
First of all, there's this issue of these collation centers at the various regions. We want it changed. Then again, the issue of separating the administrative wing of the Electoral Commission and then the the operational wing of the Electoral Commission, because sometimes people are just called in based on their political affiliations to come and do stuff for the Electoral Commission. We want to have two separate electoral commissions. Then again, the IPAC, we want IPAC to have.
You want a division. You want a divisions in the Electoral Commission.
Exactly.
Made independent of each other.
Exactly, so that we still have one electoral commissioner, but we have the administrative wing, and so that some of the things that happen will not happen. Then IPAC, that we have, IPAC has led a lot of changes in our electoral reforms in Ghana. And all these reforms, from opaque ballot boxes to colored voter ID cards and all those things, were all from IPAC. So we want that the IPAC will have some few laws backing them, so that when things needs to be done or we want to see change, it will not be at the whims and caprices of some few individuals. When the entire IPAC decides that this is the direction we are going, we are going to compel the Electoral Commission to do it. On top of my head, I cannot get a lot of these changes. Then again, we also want to maintain the 5 o'clock, the 8 to 5 calendar, unlike the 8 to 3 o'clock that the Electoral Commission is proposing, for the 2024 elections. So then we also want, like the courts, the Supreme Court does for election disputes, that they set dates to be resolved. We also want to see that for the parliamentary, if we can empower the high courts, or also have a guideline for them to be able to
All right, I think my guest is having some connection issues. Right, he's back. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So we have to have a deadline for these litigations and solving this dispute at the parliamentary level, because we cannot go on forever. Whilst, for instance, in Techiman, where all our tabulation is showing that we won the seat while somebody has been declared, we can't sit forever waiting for the cause to make these things happen. So as the Supreme Court able to be empowered to also sit on these cases and give a mandate, a specific timeline for these things to be resolved and all that. So there are proposals that we've been invited to IPAC, but unfortunately, but we'll make sure that we get this thing, we pull it through. We'll engage all the political parties to see reasoning in changing the status quo and get the best out of our elections.
Great. Okay, good. Since we are on elections, let me ask some of the reorganization work that is going on behind the scene in the party. And my understanding is that you're going to start your internal congresses or seminars or whatever the name, I don't remember the exact name you guys use, but something, you're going to start your processes to elect the next executives starting December or this year or early part of next year. Are you running again for your position? And what are some of the internal reorganizations going on in the NEC?
Yeah, I'll run again for the same position, Deputy Communications Officer. And I'll say that we've had a very good team in the communication office. We've had a lot of praises with a lot, some few bashings to that comes along the work. It's normal, and then we would improve as we go on. Then again, we are ending the thank you tour in the month of October.
Right.
After the thank you tour, we are going to have an outreach. The outreach is going to start even in October. Next week, we are going to start our outreach. That is going to all the 275 constituencies. We are going to divide ourselves into teams, regional teams, national teams, and then the constituency, to be able to resolve some of the conflicting, problems that we have now. There are teething problems that we don't need to sit for it to escalate, and also let the constituencies know the direction that the NDC is going to go, so that we'll be able to speak one language. All this is going to start this year. In October this month, and then God willing, by the end of November, we should be done with all that. Then in December, we are going to have our conference. The conference is going to look at constitutional issues, some amendments in our constitution that we need to do. One important thing about the conference is that we are going to do a total recall. The total recall is something that you wouldn't want to miss. It is going to be the corruption issues, and then sector by sector, the proposals that was in our manifesto, and how we intended to change the destiny of Ghana with our manifesto. So we are going to have either ranking members of parliament or former ministers of those sectors brief us sector by sector what we've been able to do and where our manifesto was going to take Ghana from 2021 to 2024, which we didn't have that opportunity. However, the relevance of our manifesto and then the corruption of the MPP and things that the MPP are engaging, we are going to recall all these things at the conference. Then announcement of our reorganization will be done. As I speak to you, it is the branch elections may happen in December or in January. But however it is, it will be, because we've not concluded on it. The conclusion is likely to be out there, God willing, at the conference. It will be announced at the conference. So, but latest by January, the branch elections are going to happen. And when it does, when it kickstarts, there is a standard that has been used over the years. If it is in January, then you should be looking forward to February for the constituency elections. Because most of the time we have 1 month differences apart from the region. So if it is in February for the constituencies, then we are talking about April for the regional elections. Then June, July, latest by July, we should have our national election, but likely to be in June. Looking at and I'm choosing my words carefully, likely, so that I am not quoted. I'm not quoted because there are a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes before we firm up the dates. But by July, we should have new sets of national executives in place. If I say new sets, definitely it may be a blend of the new and old, or a blend or a total retention of the current executives, or a total change of the current executives. The mandate always relies with our delegates. They always know what to do and what is best for the party at every particular time. So after the July, then the next administration will be planning for the presidential election. That they will fix a date, but per the constitution, it needs to happen next year, because when we are in opposition, the law says that 2 years into the elections, we must have our presidential elections. It's obvious. It's obvious that it's obvious who is going to go, and but as national executives, we need to be fair to every person who hopes to
but
contest.
People say even you saying that it's obvious is a problem because you are national.
You see, pardon me.
Yeah.
That's some of the things that we err on. You understand? Because as I speak to you, I have been with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama throughout this tour. And if you look at the enthusiasm of the constituency executives who are going to form 90% of the total delegates list, and they chanting for him to come back, he shouldn't desert the party and all that, it gives you a picture of what they want to see. You understand? That is why I said that it looks obvious, not to say that I've taken sides with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Opportunities will be given to everybody when the time comes. If you hope to contest, opportunity will be given to you, So whatever happens next year, we are going to conclude our internal elections up to the parliamentary and then the presidential in December next year. So that will be for the reorganization and then the calendar for the elections.
Great. Thanks. You guys are busy out there. I don't know how many hours sleeps do you get a day?
It's surprising that, as I told you, I arrived in Accra yesterday around 11 p.m. And tomorrow as early as 3 a.m. I'll be off to OT region. And when we are in the regions, you have a maximum of 5 hours to sleep. That is the maximum of and if you are unfortunate and then the program is really packed, then we are talking of only about 2 hours sleep.
Right.
It's been hectic. But you see, if you look at the zeal of the people and their enthusiasm, you will never feel tired. You are energized to go to the next level.
Right. I hope you're getting some exercise in to maintain your own self-health, so that you don't crash. Because
that is where honestly I fall short.
Right.
Personally, I fall short, but I need to revisit that. I used to, but now it's been difficult. I need to be honest. I need to go back to it.
Okay, so I want to get a taste of the total recall. I know you say the total recall will be a presentation sector by sector of the government's plans, but if you can give me a quick, tip on what you had in the 20, or a quick discussion on what you had in the 2020 manifesto, the big push. What is that? There's the conversation around a golden triangle, and a lot of my listeners are interested in knowing what a golden triangle is. So if you can break that down, and what is the whole inspiration behind that? How is this going to transform Ghana? And how would this Ghana work again? Yeah.
God being so good, I think our manifesto was really thought through. In Western region, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama said that this document is a public document now. We can offer it to the NPP if they want to use it. We can offer it to them because it was a professional work that was done across all sectors of this country. And the big push was something that we intended to be able to solve the issue of unemployment in this country. And if you look at the amount of money that we had voted, that if we had been in office today, we were going to invest in it, we wouldn't be where we are today. Sometimes I feel very sad, how we vote in Ghana. Sorry to deviate a little, or when it comes to manifesto by manifesto, projects by projects, by these two administrations, you can never choose MPP over NDC. If not because of our traditional beliefs, and then I don't know how to say it, but somebody will say that I was born into this party, I was born into this region, born into this clan. So we, even if we are dying, we belong to the left or we belong to the right, not looking at opportunities available to you. So this has been some of our difficulty. When you look at our manifesto, for instance, on the issue of licensing this Okada drivers, today in Ghana, riders, I should say, today in Ghana, the MPP failed these people. He said that we're going to give you a better opportunity than what the NDC is offering you. We are going to give you cars and all those things so that you park the Okada, use it, and all those. 1 year down the line, today, because of the armed robbery, the level of armed robbery in Ghana today, now motor riders are being arrested at random, as if it is a crime for you to sit on a bike to work. You get what I mean? So these were the people that were promised, and then going to the reality, these are the people that you are charging on them and then arresting them. However, we proposed that we are going to have a commercial plate for these motorbikes. We are going to have private, like it does for commercial cars, and then private cars in Ghana, so that you can differentiate between the two. Then there are rules and levels of training that we are going to give to them and all that, so that they'll be professional in the activities, following the traffic regulations. Among one of the things that I will say that today, no motor rider respects our traffic regulations in Ghana. If you are in traffic and you see the way that they are driving and all those things, but these are some of the things that we were going to cure with the proposals that we had given to them with training and all those things. If you want to stay in this business, these are some of the things that you need to follow. We offered, we proposed that we're going to have 2 gold refineries in Ghana, where we, since the time of Godwin, we have been sending our gold to outside this country in their raw state. We have never thought through it to, start our refinery in Ghana. We stated clearly that we are going to have 2 refineries in Ghana, in one in the eastern region and then one in Ashanti region, where predominantly we have a lot of our gold being
where we have our gold deposit.
Yes, gold deposit. That we have our gold being mined. We are going to have 2 refineries there. We're also going to go into our the production of our bauxite in Ghana. And unfortunately, these proposals were offered to by MPP to this Chinese government, where they took Ibrahim Mohammed's bauxite award was taken from him, and was offered to Chinese for unexpected money that never came, $2 billion. That never came. You understand? And these were some of the things that we're proposing to be able to absorb our youth, give them, get them employed, and all those things. Earlier in our discussion, I spoke about this rice mill and all that we established. And because we had a mindset that we are going to cut down the importations of some of these things, and we have the capacity to be able to produce them in Ghana. Just that we need to be committed to it as a country.
Right.
What is needed is our commitment. For instance, during His Excellency John Dramani Maham's administration, we decided that there are some drugs in Ghana. There are drugs that we import to Ghana, like HIV drugs and all that. We need to stop importing them and to start producing them in Ghana. So what we did was to empower Kama Pharmaceuticals, Danadams, and all those things. Today, these drugs that we used to be importing, today we are exporting them to our neighboring countries in Ghana. And these are some of the commitments that we would be embarking on come 2025. And the total recall is going to comprise both the things, and it's going to be in 2 folds. Where our manifesto was going to place Ghana, and where the MPP administration is living with now.
Okay.
You understand? So, it's where we left off. Where we left off, then again, what is happening now, and where we have proposed to have taken Ghana. So these are the total recall that we are going to do, and we are going to do it sector by sector. We'll pick aviation, we'll pick railway, what we were doing with aviation, the number of airports that we were able to establish, plans that we had for these airports, and the railway, where we took our railway from, where it is going, and the plans that we had for our railway sector. Then again, we move into the road sector, where we were doing the cocoa roads, the state of our cocoa roads, now under the MPP administration, where how we budgeted for cocoa roads and all that, and where we were taking them to. So these were going to, and then the issues about electrification. We've been able to push to is it 92 or 93% of coverage. You understand? And unfortunately, the NPP have done absolutely nothing to add up to it. You know, so the proposals we had and how we intend to execute it, you know, and all the sectors of our how do you call it, our economy, you know. So this is something that honestly you can't miss for anything. You can't miss for, and that is going to be day 2. It's going to be day two of the conference. That one will be a total record.
Right. Well, yeah, definitely. We would not want to miss that at all. And just to quickly say that the coverage area, the goal was that we were supposed to have electricity coverage area of 100% by 2020, and we mixed that.
Yes.
So we definitely don't.
And that was part of our agenda 2020 that was started by His Excellency. Flight Lieutenant General John Rawlings, may his soul rest in perfect peace.
Yeah. May his soul rest in peace. All right, great. So, great conversation so far. I'm enjoying it. But you know, I will not let you go until you finish we touch on debts, repayment. Matter of fact, let's talk corruption, and then because I think we've already done debt repayment, you're going to worry about that when you come back into power in 2024. So let's talk about debt repayment. Currently, IMF still classify us as a high-risk default country. We can easily default on our debt, even though we have arrangements in place to pay our 84% to GDP debt. How is NDC going to deal with this? Now, the new special prosecutor has also started work. What are some of the things you expect to see or you want to see as a party, or what are some of the cases you'll be interested in? And you can lump that into corruption quickly for us. I know we're taking so much of your time, and then perhaps if we get some 5 to 10 minutes, we can talk LGBT. So, what is the party's position or your position on debt repayments that is likely to face the NDC in 2025 when you come back into power? Currently, we are running at 84%. We expect that to come down to about 82% of GDP by the time the party comes in. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, I think I've just lost my guest quickly. We'll wait for him to rejoin. And as soon as he's joined, we would bring him back. But you're listening to the Ghana Agenda. We've been talking a lot. We talked about the NDC's plans to regain power, what they have been doing behind the scenes. We talked about Commander Factory. So please, I'm trying to see if I can hold him here long enough to open the phone lines. If you're watching, if you have any questions, we'll open the phone lines. Just indicate that you all call us, and then we'll add you to the conversation. Yes, sir. So
hello.
Thanks so much for joining us back. Yes, I can hear you clearly now. So I was saying that when the NDC comes back into power in 2025, one of the first things they're going to have to deal with is our debt repayment. And currently, we are being classified as high risk. We are likely to default on debts. How is the NDC going to handle that? So how is the new government? How will the new government handle that? What are some of the plans in place? And then if you can also talk to me quickly about some of the work you expect from the new special prosecutor since he's now started working, and some cases should come up. What are some of the cases you see from the corruption ones, the PDS, etc., that you think could be investigated by him?
You see, I don't expect much from the special prosecutor. I need to be honest, because you see, if you are committed to a thing, the government in itself is not committed to fighting corruption. If you are not committed to, because both His Excellency Flight Lieutenant Rawlings through to Mills, John Dramani Mahama, President Kufuor, and all those, they fought corruption without the special prosecutor. The Constitution has given the mandate that the Attorney General's department have the arms or has the power to do anything concerning prosecution. You understand? In fact, you can even sublet some of these cases to even private legal, how they call it, yes, to be able to prosecute on your behalf and all that. So if you are committed to it, you don't need a special prosecutor. The special prosecutor is a creation of their promise that they made during the campaign season, that they were going to have a special prosecutor who is going to fight corruption and all that. In fact, Martin Amidu, who was intended to have to lead and was the first special prosecutor, ended up accusing the MPP administration of not giving him the free hand to work. What shows that they are going to give this Ajabeng the free hand to work. You understand? So for me, the commitment comes from the leadership of the MPP and not from the special prosecutor. Then to add to the issue of our debt and all that, you see, if you borrow for consumption, I'll say that the fact is, borrowing is part of us. It's part of managing the economy and all that. Even the United States even borrows. But it is what you borrow for that determines how far you are able to go as a nation. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama borrowed to build airports. He borrowed to build factories. And these things are paying themselves. For instance, he borrowed to build the Terminal 3. Today, Terminal 3 is paying itself. We borrowed to expand the Ashanti Kumasi Airport. Today, the airport is, paying itself. So it doesn't become a burden of the citizens. That we don't squeeze ourselves to be able to, service our debts. And you see, a country that is being, how do you call it? We are being swallowed by the level of our debt. You have a president who decides that when he's flying, he's spending about an hour to rent a jet. You understand? And you are leading a country where water, you cannot be able to provide how do you call it, good drinking water for your people. You you are unable to provide electricity for your people, and you decide that you are, but you are renting jets. So how do you expect to be able to pay? How do you expect to be able to pay your debt or reduce the level of debt that we are being saddled with? So sometimes the commitment of leadership is where we are today. But if we decide that we are going to cut our coat according to our cloth, not according to our size, because if it's with your size and you have pot belly, it means that we are going to suffer a lot with exactly. But if you know the cloth available, the yards available to you, then you know whether you just put on a jacket or you just put on a shirt with a petticoat, because that is what your cloth can afford. These are some of the things that we need to be honest to ourselves about. And I know that we will overcome it very soon.
Great. So now, this next question I'm about to ask you is a tricky one because, we may each know somebody perhaps who's gay who could be offended by what you say. But a bill has been taken to the Parliament of Ghana after, the LGBT community center became a thing in Ghana in January of this year. The president of the country, when he spoke about this, says there's not enough pressure from the activist or the LGBT community to have legalization of LGBT in Ghana. And it is a touchy topic because even as a political party, you are careful taking a position. You couldn't take a position against, I don't know whether your party has or the NPPDC has taken a position, but I think it would be difficult for a party to take a position. So perhaps the strategy is individuals are taking their position. What is your position on what the bill contains and the entire homosexuality in Ghana? Your interview on homosexuality in Ghana. Do you think that should be something we accept in our country?
I support this bill 100%.
Why?
For me, this is not about NDC or MPP. It's about life.
Right.
Unfortunately, I didn't tell God to put me in Ghana or in Africa. That is where I find myself. I didn't choose my religion. I was born into a Christian home. And as an adult, I affirmed and gave my life to Christ.
Right.
So something that the Bible says that God hates, I cannot be hypocritical about it.
Right.
Sorry for whoever I would offend. The fact must be said. My fear in all this LGBTQ thing is what it ends with. The alphabet ends with a plus, which means that it is to infinity. That makes it even more scarier.
Right.
The plus will mean that tomorrow they may add another thing that must be respected or agreed upon. All of us have freedom. And in fact, sex in itself is a personal thing. It is something that you do indoors between you, your spouse, or whatever. It is not something that ideally is something for the open.
Right.
But unfortunately, when somebody wants to force me or is doing an advocacy on why we must accept something, I won't go for it. Let me add that, you see, let me tell you this story about Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah. Because of this act, these cities were burnt to ashes.
Right.
And to also add that, at a point in Sodom and Gomorrah, it was a force, because according to the Bible, when Lot had the visitors, they went knocking at the door of Lot and said, "Bring them out. We want to have them." So now they had grown wings to the extent that they are demanding somebody who is not even gay. So it means that they are using rights to fight now. But tomorrow, you will not have the right to say that they can't have you. They will be so powerful that they will throw the rights that they are fighting for now, they will throw it away and tell you that you who is straight, you cannot have rights. Look at the offer. Look at the offer that Lot gave them. Look at the way we cherish our daughters who are virgins. But Lot said that for virgins, I have daughters who are virgins. I am offering them to you free. That is how dangerous it may become tomorrow. If we are just looking at it misleading ourselves. But tomorrow, they would even refuse a virgin who has been given to them free of charge. So for this, I will not sit down and say that we should close our eyes to it and say that we are giving them the rights. Give them 1 inch. And I tell you, they are going to go miles away from where we expected it. So for me, let's nib it. Let's nib it in the bud.
Right. Okay. So you are in support of the bill. You think it's going to pass, and people are saying, when we have these things on the book already. Our criminal law, our criminal code, I think at 2290, already has provisions that you can have unfamiliar, anal, whatever with somebody of the opposite sex. You can have an carnal knowledge of somebody from the opposite sex, and that is a criminal act. It's a misdemeanor, depending on whether you have the person's knowledge or not. So this law is not necessary. This act is unnecessary, because all this act really is doing is giving criminalizing.
You see, Amuzu, if you say somebody. If you say what is in our logs, the laws, it says that unnatural carnal knowledge. Unnatural. This is vague. You understand? Unnatural carnal knowledge is vague. So we need to put flesh to it for we to know, for everybody to know that this law is being expanded to cover some few things and also to make it clear. You see, one good thing about this bill too is that nobody, unlike recently, if somebody says to people of equal gender having sex. They pounce upon them, beat them, sometimes kill them. It is also illegal to do that. So the law is even giving protection to them. Do you understand? However, if you are caught, there are sanctions that you need to, how do you call it? There are sanctions that will befall you. You understand? So this bill is just making things clearer for everybody to know that these things we avoid. Today, we have a lot of chiefs who have come out openly to defend this. We have churches, we have people who have come out openly saying that this thing is not cultural. It is. Listen, can't we live our lives? We are Africa. We Africans. We know what we want. You understand? You can't force your values on us.
Right.
For instance, in Ghana or in Africa, polygamy is not a sin. You get it. People are free to. That is our life. We can't force it on Europeans. It is not their style.
Right.
So why do they want? You see, this issue about LGBTQ, whatever P and the plus. Let me say that it is because of poverty.
Right.
That is why somebody would decide that is imposing something on you. It is poverty. In Africa, if we are able, why don't they take it to the Arabian countries for them to accept it?
Right.
You understand? But for us, because they will say we will not give you aid, we will not support, we will not do A, B, C, D. That is why this bill is making the noise. There's noise around it.
Right.
Because if not that, we are free to do everything that we want to do as a people. So this should challenge us to also work hard, improve upon our economy, be self-sufficient, so that somebody will not force anything down your throat.
Right. But right now, the embassies of the countries are beginning to fight back with visa refusals to officials. I heard Suhuni has been refused. He was told that he wouldn't come back to Ghana if he traveled. How are we going to fight back?
You see, it's for me. If embassy is refusing somebody, we can also refuse people from coming to the country.
Right.
Or okay. Or if you decide that you will not give our people how do you call it visas when they apply, or people are advocating for that, you punish them. What is your use in the country anyway? Then fold up and leave.
Right. Right.
Let me tell you, some of these some of these countries, I tell you, they survive because of Africa. And if we become tough on them, some of their countries will fold up. That is why I am saying that the challenge depends on ourselves. We have to challenge ourselves, and as early as possible, we need to be self-sufficient.
Right. And that takes the sugar factories so that we can make our own sugar. Otherwise,
absolutely.
Countries, yeah. Okay. Great conversation so far. I've enjoyed. You've done so much detailed explanation of all the things I've asked you. There is a comment here from Dr. Lawrence Appiah. I don't know if you've been reading Dr. Lawrence's weekly articles.
Yeah.
Great.
I salute him.
Yes, sir. He's watching live, and he has a comment here for you. I think he says he's watching from Virginia. So I was also going to ask you, when are you coming to the United States? Because, of course, I'm sure he would want to have you in Virginia. And I'm close to him, too. So if you're in Virginia, definitely we'll get to actually tape this face-to-face. And but when are you coming to the United States yourself? Do you know?
We have a very packed program, and the truth is that I may only come after somewhere next year when we are done with our elections, because the time will not permit me being outside the country.
Okay, great. So Dr. Lawrence is watching you from Virginia, and he'll be happy to see you when you come next year. Paul DeSoso, who is a regular panelist, NDC Massachusetts, and he says, how can this EC chair lie like this? I think this is when we were playing the tape of the EC. So Paul DeSoso is advocating. He's doing a good job here, canvassing position for the NDC on the Ghana agenda week by week. So since you are here, I know you would put in a couple of words of appreciation for Paul for me.
All right, thank you very much. And let me be honest that a lot of our NDC folks out there are great support to the NDC. Right. Through the international relations, they've been briefing us about a lot of things that they have been doing out there. God bless them, strengthen them, and give them the ability to be doing more. And right. For those who have also been supporting your program too, I salute them. I salute them. God bless them too.
Thank you so much. Just the last one here. Our brother, Dr. Lawrence, again says President Kufuor couldn't fight corruption. He justified corruption by saying corruption is as old as Adam. All right. So he's going all the way back to Kufuor to, and justify. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And you see, when it comes to corruption, no party fights corruption better than the NDC.
Right.
You know, the statement that you just read, that it's a quotation from President Kufuor, that President Kufuor, corruption is from Adam. You understand, as old as Adam. It means that you have thrown your hands in the air.
Right.
You have been into this. How do you call it? Exactly. But during the time of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we saw even members of the NDC being taken to courts, amongst others. Right. So sometimes I wonder what the Ghanaian really wants anyway. But opinions are always like no sister, they say.
Right.
Everyone has one, yeah.
Everyone has one. Anyway, so I know you have a packed schedule. We've been, doing this for the last 1.5 hours or more. And I would like to, at this point, take your last word, give you the opportunity to say anything else you want to leave with the NDC in the United States. Most of them watch this channel, even the MPP and people who are not affiliated with any party. Why should they believe in the NDC as an alternative to this current NPP? They say you've been there. They've blamed you for all kinds of scandal. They say John Dramani Mahama got, a Ford Explorer from Burkina Bay. They said, so many things about you. Why should they trust the NDC and elect the NDC for the next election?
All these things are fabrications from the NPP. For instance, somebody offers a Ford Expedition to an embassy in Burkina Faso as his contribution, and who gives bribe to embassies to be given?
Right.
Who does that? You understand? His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was being accused in 2016 that he was giving chiefs V8 to influence them. Right. Somebody who is accused of giving V8s, you accuse that person of taking a far lesser bribe of Ford Exhibition. Does it add up?
Right.
You understand? That John Dramani Mahama owns hotels, owns whatever in the Dubai, amongst others. Excuse me?
I think Chirac actually investigated that, correct?
Of all those things. But you see, my last words would go to our NDC supporters. You see, the feats that we were able to chalk in the 2020 elections was something that sometimes I feel that it was the hand of God. For the first time, we've been able to get 137 seats just as par with the NPP administration. Every elections, this is the first time that a party in opposition has been able to do so well.
Right.
It has raised the expectations of many Ghanaians, especially those on our side.
Right.
That we have to use the 137 to be destructive of this administration. But we have decided that we will not use our numbers to disrupt anything, but we would indeed use it to benefit and protect the everyday Ghanaian.
Right.
In the 2024 elections, the faces that are going to lead the campaign will include the face of our flag bearer, the running mate, our members of parliament, and the national executives that are going to emerge probably after July 2022. My plea to everybody is that sometimes the lies, and then some people have been accusing them of. Sometimes it hurts.
Right.
Most of these things are not true. And some of these things too cannot be explained on air. You understand?
Right.
There are strategies for everything. And there is nothing that our members of parliament do without conferring with the national executives.
Right.
So sometimes we know what is going to happen in parliament, and we have sanctioned it to go the way that it is supposed to go.
But people complain about that because they say we vote for our parliamentarians to represent our interests, not the party's interests. So when the party, it sounds like the party is too involved in providing guidance to the people's representation, don't you think?
You see, it's even an opportunity for us to have what we have today. I'm saying it because initially, or for the previous years, everybody in opposition says that, oh, the opposition will have its say, but the majority will have its way. Today, the opposition is also having its way sometimes. For instance, this bill on LGBT, we are having our way.
Right.
On the elections of speaker, we had our way.
Right.
There are a lot of things that we are having our way. Today, we are able to, because we have a speaker on our side, we are able to call the health minister to come and explain this corrupt Sputnik vaccine.
Right.
You understand? To come and explain in parliament. We're able, through Okojeto Ablakwa, to pull the finance minister to come and explain and tell Ghanaians of the cost of the president travel and all those things. Today, Minta Akando is in the regions,
right,
looking at the state of our hospitals that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama left and all those things. And it is going to follow up when Parliament reopens with a report to be able to change things in this. So we've been blessed.
Right.
But you see, In every society that you have these opportunities, if we don't take time, this blessing may turn to a curse for the NDC. I am saying this because if we are not measured and will accuse our leaders, will accuse our ranking members, will accuse our leaders, executive and all, how will who will have the confidence of leading our elections in 2024?
Right.
I am pleading with everybody. Questions can be asked. Questions must be asked. But let's ask the questions through the right channels.
Right.
If you are outside and you have your branch executives or your chapter executives, put questions to them. If the questions are above them, channel it to Ghana and let us answer those questions for you. The speculations are so much that at a point, the MPs even fear. And, sometimes they get worried if things doesn't go the way that they expect to go. They feel worried. And if these things continue, they may feel very, I don't know how to put it, but it may be very difficult for them to champion some of the things that they intend to champion. There's an account proverb that says that he who goes to the riverbank to fetch water, he's the one that breaks the pot. One way or the other, we may get some things wrong, but it doesn't mean that we must crucify our members of parliament. It hurts. For me,
they
for the party,
they call it critical feedback. They're giving critical feedback. The goal is to make leadership better, don't you think?
Yes, those things happen. I agree. However, accusing people of what they have not done, accusing people of taking bribe. Somebody travels and we accuse him that no, he's going to meet somebody there because of a deal and all that. Today, some of the things that I'll say some members of parliament negotiated for. Today, Radio Gold and a host of radio licenses have been given to the people. These are some of the things that I will say that we've been able to do with our numbers, 137, 137. It doesn't mean that we are going to kowtow to the MPP. We won't kowtow to the MPP. We are still championing the cause of the ordinary Ghanaian. But sometimes the approaches may be different. When these approaches come, yes, dissenting opinions are key. But let's do it with the mindset that some people are also interested in the well-being of not just the NDC, but also in the nation Ghana as a whole. So let's make sure that some of these things we champion it. I've been following your shows sometimes. You understand? And I admire the decency and all those things. You may disagree with some of the steps that we've taken. It's all right. You understand, to criticize. But when we single out personalities, we want to crucify them or think that they have a motive against some individuals, then it becomes worrying.
Right.
Because you may not know people are also going through to make sure that time.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thanks for watching the show too and all the good feedback. We really appreciate it. I hope that we can make this regular so we'll be seeing you a lot more often. I mean, maybe when the pressure is off a little bit and you can make time for us, we'll be able to, hopefully bring you back to the show, and I'm sure my guests will love it. Man, I am always energized by you for all the things you've been doing. You're on the road, traveling, not getting good sleep. I just encourage you that you include some little exercise so that you can keep the body healthy and be strong and continue to lead the party to victory.
I'll do that.
I'll do that.
And then anytime you want to have me, just send a request and then we can talk about it. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem at all. Engaging. I don't have a problem engaging you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Mauko Atisu say great show. He loved everything you said today. So everybody has enjoyed you. I know that was going to be the case before we even started. So yeah, I'm not disappointed. Thanks for delivering again. We really appreciate you for coming. Have a good night.
All right, sure. Thank you. Thank you to everybody and good night.
Thank you. Good night. Get some rest. All right. So, yeah, that's been my guest. Ako Gunn is hardworking on the road, traveling with the former president on the thank you tour. He has canvassed some of, the points that were discussed at the central region. We talked about Commander, the idea behind it, the fact that we are still spending that much, $300 million on sugar importation. I mean, these are the things that makes the city always continue to fall against the dollar, because we needed all this money. Imagine $300 million just to import sugar. Until today, we are still importing sugar. So we have to free ourselves from dependence on things that we can actually produce in Ghana. Why do we have to depend on somebody else from another country to give us those things? So those are some of the things that the NDC was going to tackle, was going to cure as a way of transforming Ghana. And he's been able to canvas. He said there is going to be a total recall, which is how the NDC is teaming the discussions that will be going on at their conference or Congress. And in that total recall, it's talking about the NDC showing where their plan would have taken Ghana, or what they had in their manifesto for 2020 would have taken Ghana, and what the current government's programs have taken us. And so you can see that, comparison between the DC and the MPP. And then, of course, they're also going to project what is next, because of course they will be inheriting, from where the NPP has left. The NPP has certain things that they are also working on, that they would inherit all those things and they have to take it forward from 2025 onwards. They talked about the party and all the criticisms or the feedbacks that we've all been providing. He's saying that, yes, let's do it through the right channels. Let's not eat, or don't eat your own. That's what he's saying to the NDC. If you're an NDC person who's giving critical feedbacks on how the leadership is performing, please do it through the right channels. Don't eat your own. Thank you so much for watching the show. We'll be back next week, where I'll have my regular panelists to sort out everything we've heard so far. If this is the first time you're watching the show, go to the Ghana Agenda YouTube channel and subscribe, so that when we come live, you can be notified. We'll take some of these interviews, repackage them, and re-deliver them for your consumption. So please stay tuned. These videos will be rolled back up in shorter versions for each of the topical areas we discussed today, so that you can have it in succinct and shareable format. Thank you so much for watching the show. Again, my name is Alfred Amuzu. I've enjoyed it and look forward to seeing you all again. Thank you.